Alright folks, today is the day I stop hiding who I truly am. Today we're going to talk about something that's most people are going to be upset about. And at the end of the day, the truth is the truth, and if the truth upsets you, then you're wrong. Also, I don't know if you saw that, but we're featuring a huge swallowtail, or a giant swallowtail butterfly. Anyway, so on to the subject matter. I have come upon a conclusion about gardening that basically has made me a criminal for most of my time gardening. And the fact of the matter is, if you are continuously harvesting and you're not returning nutrients to that soil, essentially you're stealing from your garden. So today we're going to talk about what that looks like, and in my opinion, and in my experience actually, is bringing forth a lot of really productive plants. So let's get to it. Alright folks, to you this looks like a bucket of leaves, but in fact, between the leaves, there is like 3 or 4, I think it's 4 layers of human manure, so-called human manure. And you're like, that's freaking gross. Mind you though, this bucket doesn't stink at all. Not one bit. I want to show you something that's going on here. Alright, so here we have a beautiful papaya tree, and beneath that papaya tree is a full bucket of leaves and human manure, just like that. So I dug a hole the size of a 5-gallon bucket, I dumped it in, covered it over with sand, and here we have a papaya that's doing really well. And then actually around the papaya we've got some watermelons, because this is an extremely rich spot in the soil because of the leaves and the human manure. I didn't just do it once, I did it twice. And here we have another papaya tree with really vigorous growth. And actually this was planted after those, and it looks like most of this watermelon has not hit the manure. This one however has. And a lot of these over here are pretty big. And I put in some okra as well. That appears it's been hitting it. So it's beginning to feed off of that. And man, the watermelons over here are just going nuts. So let's compare this papaya plant with the ones that are still in pots. These are the same age. And they're, less than half the size. So that's pretty pitiful. And those aren't like tiny pots either. So had I just put these plants in sand, however, let's go look at some papaya trees that were just put straight into the ground and left alone. Here's one. This was put in the ground way before those. Same with that one. They're basically doing nothing. Here's one that's doing a little bit better, but still not even close. And actually this one's in some of the compost, not doing great. Alright, so what I'm doing here is I'm just opening up a spot in the middle of all these weeds, and there's some soybeans in here as well. And we're gonna dig a hole the size of a 5-gallon bucket. Now look at this. This is just straight sand. And towards the surface it's actually a little bit dark and doesn't look terrible. But we get a couple feet down and it gets really light colored, and it's sandy like that. So that's what we're dealing with here. So I'm gonna finish digging this hole, and then we're gonna dump the nasty in there. Alright, there's our hole. You can see the light colored sand as we get deeper. I believe that's because there's not much organic matter that deep. Most roots aren't going that deep. However, if there's some good stuff down there, then the roots will in fact go that deep. So it is time to get our bucket and dump it in. Alright, best way to do this is just really go for it. So here we go. Now I'm not gonna lie, it doesn't smell nice by any means, but yeah, that doesn't smell nice at all. But that's mostly manure and some urine. So there you have it. I gotta show you this. Alright, so this is what it looks like. Not bad, it's pretty moist just because there's some urine in there as well. If you look close, there's some maggots, and they're all about to get buried underneath the sand. And as the sand goes over it, you can see it's going to get pushed down quite a bit. So it's actually going about 8-10 inches below the surface of the ground. So we're just covering this over with our sand. And another interesting thought about this is when you dig this deep and you get these different colors of sand, you're actually bringing up different kinds of minerals up to the surface. So just getting it turned over like that is kind of neat. But let's get into the really important thing, and then we'll plant our papaya here. And whew, that's soft. All right, folks, let's talk about this crap. I think it's criminal, or at least unwise, to take from your garden and not give back. Because everything in nature is a cycle. Comes around, goes around. And so if our urine and our poop are not going back into the garden somehow, that's right, buddy, it's messed up. We're robbing from our soil. And our soil is the thing we're dependent on for our very survival. So, the best thing we can do for our home gardens is to utilize this resource rather than sending it away. Because when we send it away, it's no longer valuable to us. It holds no value, it's gone. Alright, so we're putting in this papaya tree here. Just raking some of the sand around it. And we had a rain recently, so it's nice and moist, which is good. And this is going right on top of the poop pile. And I'm just going to trim off some of these lower leaves because they don't really do anything. And there we have it. So I'm fully expecting this little tree to reach a root down, find all that fertility, and then just take off. And so we're converting my own personal waste into papayas, which is just bonkers, right? But this video is going to feed into another video about decomposers and recomposers and just composers. So this right here is our papaya turning poop into papayas. Yummy. Doesn't that sound good? So in conclusion, I mean, Matt Damon did it. You can do it too. It's not that gross. Get over it. Deal with your own crap. You know, we're a culture that does not want to take responsibility for ourselves. And this is just one way we can take responsibility for our own crap. Literally. Sort of figuratively too. You can eat that. So I hope you guys have a wonderful day. I hope your gardens are productive, and think about it. Do a pit like I did, and you know, if your family produces 1 5-gallon bucket of poop and leaves a year, 365 pits, that's a lot of produce. And this is the only fertilizer I'm using in my garden right now, and I'm really impressed with the results. And I think it has to do with just the amount of fertility that's in it, and then also my gut microbes that are in the soil, or that are in my poop, going into the soil, and those microbes interacting with the roots as well. So it's just a different way of thinking about this. And look, I'm not the only one doing this, all right? Like, go on YouTube and search. Other people are doing it successfully, and a lot of people are composting it. I don't believe you have to do that. I think the pit with a few inches, like what would I do, 8 or 10 inches of of dirt between it and the surface, that's plenty of separation. You're not getting any fecal matter on your fruit. Don't plant your root vegetables on it, obviously, but anything that produces above ground, I say go for it. Have a great day, guys.